I'd like to welcome everyone to the Arkansas Tech University Graduate College Virtual Open House. Up in the top right-hand corner of your screen, you should be able to change the screen view from stacked to side-by-side. That's just so that you can see the presentation and the presenter and other participants in the session at the same time. If you want to go ahead and try to do that on your screen now. If you can't figure it out, no worries. You'll still be able to see everything. We are going to start the breakout sessions at 4:10. You will automatically be placed into your breakout session at that time. We have breakout sessions for your programs today and tomorrow. So if you get into a room and that's not the session that you wanted to be in, that program, you'll just be able to exit that breakout room up at the top, and then you'll come back to the main session and we can put you in the correct breakout room. If you selected more than one program, you'll be in that session tomorrow if you selected two. So just remember that. But when you come back from those breakout sessions, we'll also have two more presentations continuing at 5 p.m. So make sure that you hang out. If you have any questions, you can send those in the chat and we'll answer those at the end of each session. And then we'll do the drawings for our application fee waivers and our other prizes at the very end. I'm going to go ahead and start the program breakout rooms now. Maybe. Gonna have to get someone else too because my computer is being crazy. Okay, guys, I hope that everyone enjoyed their program breakout rooms. I'm gonna hand it over to Dr. Shapoister, the Dean of the Graduate College.
Thank you, Caitlin. My name is Richard Shapoister. I am Dean of the Graduate College and Research here at Arkansas Tech University. And I just want to briefly tell you on behalf of the President and the Vice President for Academic Affairs, how excited we are to have you here today, and excited for the prospect of you joining our programs very soon. And just a couple of things I want to tell you about are people that you should know about to help you in this process of making choices and figuring out how to get started here at the ATU in our graduate college. The number one person that's important to you is your graduate program director. We got a great group of graduate program directors that you just met. That is the primary person that you should always look to for answers about anything. And then if they can't, they will direct you to that. So that should be always be your first point of contact for anything having to do with your joining us here at ATU. Because they're the ones who know specifically the most about the program that you're interested in and can help you with that. But also here in the Graduate College, we have a very capable staff that is ready to help and assist you. One of those people is not with us here today. Her name is Denise, but if you call the Graduate College phone number or email gradcollege@atu.edu, she's the one who you will be speaking with. And she can help you there. She also works with our graduate assistants. So if you're interested in getting a graduate assistantship, she can answer your questions specifically about that. You are going to meet another member of our team, Ernest, who's a brand new member, just joined us in December, but comes to us with a lot of experience on providing student services. And he's basically there for any need that you have in general, in terms of getting here onto board here and any of the services that you need as a graduate student. He is somebody that you can contact, and he'll be talking to you about that and helping you figure your way out and things to think about as you're joining and becoming a graduate student here. And of course, there's our admissions staff as well. Jill and Judy are also important as you're going through the application process, and they can help you with that. And the last thing I just want to mention real briefly is what I tell all students at all levels is as you're planning to start a new program, keep in mind that what you're going to learn in classroom is probably only 50% of what you may learn, even if it's an online program that you're joining. So be engaged as much as you can. One example of that you're going to hear from today is our Graduate Student Council and the Student Government Association. We have graduate students that are active in that as well. That's one way to be actively engaged on campus. You'll be hearing from them. about how to do that and become active, and work with them on other ways to engage graduate students on campus and via the virtual environment that we're all very familiar with these days. Plus, our programs are very well known for practical experiences. So take advantage of those practical experiences. Many of our programs have internships where you can gain professional experience while a student. But if you're interested in research, many of our programs have thesis tracks where you can work on a thesis. And then, as I mentioned earlier, another way to become engaged is through a graduate assistantship. And if that's something that you're interested in, you can get information on our website or contact Denise about how to do that. And then one thing that's a very exciting event that's happening is that we now have approval to develop accelerated programs from our own bachelor's programs into our master's programs. And we're working some of our programs through the curricular process, approval process on that. So keep a look on that. And if that's something that you're interested in, if you're one of our undergraduate students, talk to your program to see if they can work on developing a fast track from your undergraduate program into a graduate, one of the graduate programs that you're interested in as well. So with that, I'm going to hand it over back to Caitlin and wish you all good luck in your decision process and let us help you in that in whatever way we can.
Thanks. So for the next session, Ernest Henley, he's the coordinator of graduate student support services. He's going to give the next presentation on adapting to graduate college. Just want to remind you all, if you have questions about the presentation or anything, feel free to send those in the chat, and then we'll ask those at the end and review everything.
Hello, everyone. Again, thanks, Caitlin, for your help so far. My name is Ernest Henley. Again, I'm the coordinator for Graduate Student Support Services. I'm about to present to you guys, and the crux of my presentation today is just to give you a brief overview of how to adapt to graduate college life, whether you guys have done some grad school and pursuing another program, or coming for the first time, or just have some basic interests. We'll kind of go over some high points and some key points to keep in mind as you transition into the graduate college. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can share my screen. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen with you guys really quick. All right, can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, very good. So we're going to approach it from, all right, we're assuming that you have completed the application process and you've been accepted to that program of choice. So now what? What do you do after being accepted and you're a grad student officially? Well, one of the first steps that we advise all graduate students to do is to basically have a game plan and a game plan for success. And one of the best approaches to being successful in graduate students as a graduate student is to think about the things that would make you successful, have written game plan, have goals, and take it small steps at a time to make sure that you're not skipping steps to be successful. So here are some of the things that I put as some of the first things you should do within a week of being accepted to a program. And as Dr. Schafoister alluded to previously, one of the first things that you need to be doing is meeting with your program director, who will serve as your advisor primarily for registering for classes, but also talking about the holistic ins and outs of your academic program. It's very important to meet with that program director for a host of reasons, but primarily they're the ones who are going to advise you on a semesterly basis to keep you on track with your graduation goals. They could also serve as a liaison if you're having any kind of issues transitioning, getting your classes. They can help intervene and point you in the right direction if they don't know the answers themselves. Number 2 is to visit the graduate catalog for academic policy information and deadlines. No different than the undergraduate experience, graduate college has some very specific deadlines that refer to things such as graduation, applying for graduation, applying for candidacy, things in terms of research that you will have to participate in if you're in a thesis or dissertation based program, comprehensive exam deadlines if you're in a program that requires that. So there's some specific information, all of those specifics as far as an academic calendar and things related to academics, any changes, etc., will be a part of that graduate catalog, which is located on our graduate college website. You can see the link here. And that is a great point of reference if you want to keep up with any changes or you think you're missing anything. Keeping up with the deadlines are very, very important to completing your program successfully. Number 3 is to gather all class materials, the books, the syllabi, and complete your Blackboard training, which Caitlin will talk about in a little while. And number 4, and this is not lastly or an over comprehensive list, but this is the kind of the key point, is to apply for financial aid and or meet with a financial aid counselor to discuss your specific financial situation. Again, as a graduate student, there are very specific rules that apply to domestic students. There's very specific rules that apply to international students. And there's very specific rules that apply to graduate students as a collective. And these things are also subject to change. So with that said, it's very important that you meet one-on-one with a financial aid counselor. They can meet virtually as well to discuss your specific situation to make sure that you're getting the best financial help available. Not only will a financial aid counselor talk about federal and university-based scholarships, but they can also refer you to specific scholarships that are associated with your specific department and or the college itself. And again, along with creating a game plan for success, one of the most important things for grad students is managing the time. And that kind of goes hand in hand with creating that game plan. But as a graduate student, generally speaking, you all will be older, hence have more responsibilities, whether this be work, family obligations, etc. If you're in a research intensive program, you will have a lot of times you will have to go out and do research. So your time is very squeezed. So it's important that you manage that time very effectively and efficiently. And so here are some things that can help you balance those obligations. Number 1 is creating a checklist. And again, a checklist seems like a simple thing, but even I do checklists before I start my work obligations. It's a practice that I've started as an undergraduate, kept as a graduate student, and kept as a professional. But it's important as a grad student that you not only create that task list, but you review it at the beginning and at the end of the day. It's very important that you make sure that as you close your day, as your work day, that you're not missing anything, that you accomplish all the tasks that you set out to accomplish that day, and if not, that you have a game plan to accomplish them the next day. And because a lot of you will be older, you'll have family, you may have spouses, children, etc., it's very important that you communicate with family and friends of your obligations. These are the people that will help you persevere through those obstacles, and also they provide a sense of accountability. And so, as a person who has children, etc., let them be a part of. We don't want you by any means to become a student and then negate your responsibilities as a parent or negate your responsibilities as a wife, husband, etc. We want grad school to be enhanced, and we want you to take the journey, bring your family with you along your journey. The people who do that effectively are the most efficient at being able to balance their time in grad school. And then, very important that you designate your study time strategically. You don't have as much study times, particularly on campus, as many of your classes will be at night in the evening time and or online. So while you're doing that, most people will either be in a graduate assistant or teaching assistant role, or they'll have full-time work responsibilities. And because of that, you'll have to designate your study time strategically. So here are some common examples that a lot of college students utilize as study times. Whatever your normal wake-up time is, pick 2 to 3 days out the week, and maybe that you'll wake up 30 minutes to an hour, maybe an hour and a half if you can squeeze it, and do that 2 or 3 days out the week. This gives you a chance before you start your day to kind of go in, get that game plan, get that last minute reading in. So it's kind of the first thing on your mind. You're really understanding what you need to be doing, and you're getting some quality quiet time there before commuting home. So if you're on the campus, you have an evening class, and you're going home, maybe staying or picking some spot on the campus where you can have a designated study time for 30 minutes to an hour just to read over the lecture or whatever you feel like is most efficient for that time period. And then lunch breaks as well. This is a good time to get reading. That's a strategy I used in grad school as well. And then also talk real briefly about what do the professors expect, because this can throw students for a loop, particularly if they had an undergraduate experience where the professors really guided you from A to B throughout the class, throughout the course. Some common examples of what graduate instructors are going to expect out of graduate students is, one, that you exude professionalism. Attendance and communication, obviously, there's almost no leeway in terms of being present, and whether or not you have to miss a class period, you still need to be present with that instructor and communicating your obligations in that course. The ability to work independently. This is something that is also very difficult and different from the undergraduate experience going into the graduate experience, is that your instructors expect you to really do the brunt of the research yourself to be successful and accomplish the task and complete the objectives for the course. But this does not mean that you do not ask questions. This simply means that if you do have questions, that you have some very intentional questions, you have them written down, and that you understand that time is very valuable. So if you do get that one-on-one time with your instructor, make the most of it, and then continue to execute the expectations. Develop new research ideas. Again, it's a big push in graduate school to produce new research. That's a very, very important mission of the graduate college and graduate students, to be innovative and develop new research ideas, whether it be through thesis or research projects, etc., and then ultimately become a peer in the academic discipline. Take what you've learned here and then join as an expert researcher or explorer in the academic field of choice. And then real quickly, I'm putting here some resources for all of you guys. Some of the most common resources, and this is not an overall encompassing list, but it gives you just an idea of some resources that we have here. On the left here, we have some on-campus resources, obviously the graduate program advisors and the graduate college staff, such as myself, are a resource. We have a diversity inclusion office for anybody that's a veteran and wants to know more about the Veteran Upward Bound program. That's there. We have, we have the Writing Center. If you forgetting some things, maybe your grammar is a little rusty, the Writing Center is a very good resource. You can turn in some of your academic writing before you submit it for grade, and they can give you feedback on some grammatical instructions. Career services, if you're prepping for a career, have some specific goals in mind and you want to get ready or want to talk about the prospects, view some statistics, etc. Career services is very important. Obviously, we mentioned the graduate college. And then we have also some external resources. You know, we have child care awareness of Central and Southwest Arkansas. If you guys have some child care needs and want some resources while you're in graduate school, that's a great resource. The Social Security Administration. If you need passports updated, etc., want to know visa rules, this is an important resource. And then we also have the two on the bottom are workforce related. Arkansas United, whether you're having some need some help with immigration paperwork, etc., documentation. Arkansas United is a great resource, and then also Arkansas Workforce Centers can help build up workforce in a state if you're interested in working within the state of Arkansas. So those are some external resources that you can use. If you have any questions about those resources or want me to send you further information, here is my contact information here. My phone number, email is the best and quickest form of communication, but you can definitely call in. And if I'm here, I would definitely speak with you or leave a message, and I'll return your phone call. So that concludes my presentation here. And at this point, we'll open up the floor for some questions here.
Yes, guys, feel free to send any questions in the chat and I'll read those out for Ernest, or if you feel more comfortable unmuting yourself and asking that verbally, you're more than welcome to. Whether you have questions about the graduate college or anything else, we can answer those now. The next session will start at 5:30. Does anyone have any questions? Please don't be shy.
Don't be shy, I don't bite. Put a question in the chat if you don't want to verbalize it.
Ernest, would you tell us a little bit more about your role as the go-to for people for students when they're at Tech?
Sure. Quite simply, my role is to support anything that helps you stay here and be successful. And that's an overarching description of my role. And so that can encompass anything from meeting one-on-one with you if you're having some issues, supporting
and is enabled to save
speaking with an instructor That could be anything from helping you find academic information or research information. I have little knickknacks in my office and little guides and readers. If you have any issues with academic expectations, like writing a thesis, like what is and is not permitted, any of those type of questions, I'm able to address either via email, or if you want to, just book a one-on-one virtual session with myself, I'm willing to do that as well. So I'm here basically as an advocate for you, also as a liaison to find information about whether it be course registration and or graduation concerns, or just overall experience concerns.
Any more questions, guys, that you may have? If not, okay, someone has asked if we could share the PowerPoint presentation via email. So this session is being recorded, so we are going to make that accessible for everyone that was here today, and even those who did not join us today. This presentation will be accessible for y'all. Hopefully going to be sending that out by the end of the week. So just watch your email and you'll have this in your email soon. It looks like someone else was going to ask a question. Go ahead.
Make sure you hit your unmute button if you're going to ask the question.
Okay, sorry, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, fantastic. Like I said, my question is because we actually attended this meeting, is it possible for us to get an application fee waiver for our application? Is that correct?
We are drawing for application fee waivers. We're giving away a certain amount. Not everyone who is here today or tomorrow will receive one. We're going to be drawing for those at the end, right before it ends at 6 p.m.
Oh, fantastic. Hopefully I'll be lucky. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was going to say, if no one has any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and let Ernest go. He kindly stayed a little bit later for us today at work, so appreciate that, Ernest. And then we'll go ahead and transition over to our next session. If you just want to hang out a second, and we'll let Ernest unshare his screen, and then we can get started with our next session.
Good luck, everybody. Again, my contact information is there. As the information will be shared, you can definitely follow up with me.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started with our next session. It is a How to Get Involved panel. We've got 4 of our current graduate students here at Arkansas Tech. I'm going to let them introduce themselves and just tell everyone a little bit about them and their backgrounds. I'm going to start with Ethan.
Hey y'all, so technical difficulties, that's why my camera is not on, so I apologize for that. But my name is Ethan Might. I'm currently a second-year graduate student here at Arkansas Tech. I'm also the resident director of leadership for Residence Life, and I got my bachelor's at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater in history.
Hi guys, I'm Amanda Lowe. I am currently in the Student Affairs Administration program, as well as Ethan. I'm originally from Valley Springs, which is a very small town in Northwest Arkansas. And I actually was at Tech for my undergrad and got my bachelor's in business education, and then decided to come back here for my master's. I also currently work as the career counselor here at ATU. I just got hired in December, so very thankful to be full-time, but I was a graduate assistant before that.
Hudson?
Hi, my name is Justin Anderson. I am a first-year student in the Student Affairs Administration program. I'm also a graduate assistant for the department. I'm originally from Arkansas, and I did my undergrad at Tech in Journalism and Public Relations.
And Krishma?
Hello, my name is Grishma Khatri. I'm originally from Ghana, West Africa. My parents are from India, but I was born and raised in Ghana. I got my undergrad from Tech in psychology and sociology, and currently getting my master's in student affairs administration as well as sociology and criminal justice. Currently, I work for the National Admissions, and formerly I did work with the National Student Services, coordinating events and programs.
Great. So we've got a little bit of a variety of types of students. I did not realize everyone was in the Student Affairs program, but we do have some students here who are full-time employees, students who have grad assistantships, and Grishma, who is an international student, Ethan, who is from out of state. So definitely have all the different perspectives of students that we can share and share their experiences with you all. If you have any questions for them about what it's like to be a student here at Tech, what the classes are like from the student perspective, anything like that, please send those in the chat as we go along. I have some questions to kind of get the conversation started, but if you have any questions, go ahead and send those in the chat and we'll read those out as we can. So my first question is, what all are you involved in as a student at ATU? So I'll let Ethan start and then we'll just go along with each person.
Yeah, so originally I was involved with our student affairs administration program. We had a student group, and unfortunately we did not meet this year amidst a few things. But some things that I have been interested in or have been involved with were some sporting events last year, because those were a thing. And then I also have my current position as a grad student. And that's all I really have done.
Amanda?
I got involved with our graduate student council at the beginning of my time here. We're a student government as well as the SGA is, but for graduate students. I started out as the secretary there, and this year I was able to become chair. So it's been kind of fun and a lot more responsibility than before, but we're trying to make it work amidst COVID and all of that fun jazz. I was also inducted into our honor society. It's Chi Sigma Alpha. I always get them switched around, but I'm the historian for that. And then I was a GA before I got hired full time. So I was working in our career services department and trying to help them with the career fairs and just other events that we've put on.
And Hudson?
I am involved in, like I said, I was a GA for the Student Affairs Administration Department on campus, and I'm also the Graduate College Senator for the Student Government Association on campus. So I kind of work directly with the Graduate College and Graduate Student Council and kind of help the Graduate College in any way.
Grishma?
So when I came to the United States, I really wanted to get involved with the students around, getting to know them, learning the culture. I was very much into diverse cultures since I have a very diverse background by myself. So I got involved with the National Student Services as a student worker. I started working there. We did several events with the Chinese students. We celebrated the Mooncake Festival. We celebrated Diwali, Indian Festival. There were so many, can't mention all. But through that, the event, I was able to make a lot of friends. I learned a lot about the culture, not just American culture, about various cultures that we had represented on campus, which was pretty much around 40 countries on campus, which is very diverse. So got involved through events, talking with people. They invited me to try different foods, learned more about their festivals, religions, and all of that. So through that, I got very involved, and I worked my way up. And I was able to get a position as a graduate assistant for the National Student Services, where I was able to coordinate these events and lead them as well. So that was a blessing, and I think that was my way to get involved.
Okay, so what are some leadership opportunities that graduate students here at Tech can get involved in? I know Amanda mentioned the Graduate Student Council, Hudson, SGA. If y'all just kind of want to expound upon that and just what all the opportunities are out there for students.
Yeah, so I serve as the Graduate College Senator, like I said, and on that, you kind of just attend like a weekly SGA meeting, and SGA is kind of the governing body for all students, and they kind of make decisions that can help impact the students, whether it be like a new campus facility, changing whatever it may be to help improve the lives of students in any way that they can. So my particular position, I kind of work with the Graduate Student Council, and we kind of come up with different ideas, and I kind of use the SGA form of that and kind of go back to SGA and like kind of make that happen and use both of resources. And then I work directly with the dean of the graduate college with him, and we kind of do any ideas that we think can benefit the graduate college in any way. That's kind of what I'm there for.
The Graduate Student Council is similar to SGA, but more focused on graduate students. We have a council of, I think, about 15 to 17 is what we should be, but our numbers are low right now. But we basically put on professional development series and have guest speakers do events. We have a research symposium in the spring that's coming up, where graduate students can propose a research project that they've done, and they can either present that as a 3-minute thesis, they can present a poster, and there's a lot of different competitions, and then you get rewarded money for that after being judged by usually our professors that agree to help us with that. We also try to do some social events. We've done pumpkin carving in the past, and that's been a lot of fun. Before COVID, we did game nights and things like that, but COVID's kind of put a damper on that since we can't meet and play our games together. We have plenty of different positions that you could be in leadership. So we have chair, vice chair. We just added treasurer, secretary, and things like that. So if you wanted to be a part of it, you could potentially get that leadership position and have as much or as little responsibility as you want. But we really try to help graduate students and meet their goals.
Krishma or Ethan, do y'all have anything you'd like to add?
If you come to work into Tech, you would have several opportunities to get involved. The National Student Services has several events that they organize throughout the year. You would be welcome to volunteer. You could help. There are several other volunteer opportunities as well that are sponsored for events off campus. So you could get even involved off campus. So there will be several opportunities where you would see around you on campus. So I would just say go for it. None of them are hard. The only thing is you'd benefit from it, and you'll be able to just make friends, learn more, and network, socialize, and simply grow as an individual.
So don't forget, guys, if you have any questions, to send those in the chat, and we will ask those to our current student on the panel. So my next question is, what do you like to do outside of class? What things do you do, in the city of Russellville and surrounding areas outside of class as a graduate student?
My biggest thing was when I come here, I want to go out. I want to meet people. I want to network that way. So there's so many opportunities if you look over here. Networking is one of the biggest things. So if you go out, get involved off campus, you can learn a lot of things by talking with people. So I think it's more about talking with more people and not being shy. So this would help you just grow that way.
One thing that I enjoy doing in my free time, we've recently started going to the gym, which is not always my favorite, but it's fun to be active and go do stuff. The SGA has worked hard to get us a student discount system. So as an Arkansas Tech student, you have discounts all over Russellville. There's several gyms that have discounts, Focus Fitness, Anytime Fitness. There's even Soul to Soul, I think. They have a big discount that we can utilize. So if you like being active and want to work out, we have those. I also enjoy reading, and I saw that we have discounts at local bookstores as well. So definitely look into those. But another one is Russellville is full of great places to volunteer. We have a Boys and Girls Club in town. So if you enjoy working with high school students or just students in general, they're all ages there, you can volunteer and work with them. We've got lots of nursing homes and more like retirement facilities if you're interested in that. But there's a lot of different ways to get involved around in our community, as well as lots of fun places to go and hang out whenever COVID is not an issue again, like our theater and bowling and all that fun stuff.
I love to bounce off of what Amanda was just talking about in volunteering. As an undergraduate student, I volunteered at the Boys and Girls Club and the River Valley Child Advocacy Center, and I kind of just transitioned to that along with local animal shelters. Russellville has a few of them, so if you love, doing volunteer work, there's plenty of options as a graduate student to do all of that. And then, like in my leisurely time, I love to hike. I love to go to Mount Nebo and Bonadilla and just walk, and it's a great place to relax and take a breather amidst all the graduate school stressors that you have as a student, especially during COVID and everything that we're going through right now. So it's a great way to relieve stress, and volunteering is a great way to also kind of relieve their stress, because you get to kind of think, you get a break from everything going on in your life and kind of focus on someone else's life and help them in any way that you can.
I would also like to bounce off of Hudson. I am an avid hiker because the nature in Arkansas is the most I have ever seen. But also going to sporting events. I know that's a little bit different for this year. But hopefully next year there may be some events. But the thing about being a graduate student too for sporting events is you get to attend for free. You don't have to pay or anything like that. You can attend any and all sports events throughout the academic year with your tech ID. So that's very exciting as well.
Okay, guys, don't be shy. I definitely know when I was going into graduate college at a new institution, I was very curious about what graduate student life looked like. For those of you who may be online students, definitely ask questions if you have anything like that you'd like to ask. International students, Grishma here is here to share her perspective with you guys. So definitely send those in the chat. So I guess that could be my next question is, how can online students get involved at Tech?
As I mentioned earlier, the Graduate Student Council tries to put on about 6 to 7 events a semester, and the majority of those are professional development type opportunities where we've polled the student body and asked what you guys would like to see, and then we get guest speakers to join us and talk about that. So we had our career counselor leave in the summer, and I didn't feel fully prepared to like discuss that as a professional at a professional level. So I got a panel of other career counselors from other colleges. I had one from UCA in Conway, as well as another from LSU in Louisiana. And they were kind enough to speak to our students and kind of give advice. We also have local professors speak on different topics. We did a research based one. So if you have to write your thesis or do a research project for your degree, we had some just general advice on that and did some panels in the fall as well. So attending those events and telling us what you'd like to see would be a great way to be involved, as well as you get further on. If you enjoy research and wanted to participate in our symposium, you do have cash prizes if you place high, which I think we do 1st through 3rd place. So plenty of opportunities to get involved and maybe win some money.
So for anyone that is going to be an online student, the same opportunities for students that are not online would be also available to you, such as, like I mentioned before, sporting events. Those are still free to you, even if you're not physically on campus. And even there might be virtual events as well, such as this past semester was a virtual homecoming. Last year, it would have been physical events that I can't remember off the top of my head, but everything is still free and available to you. So if you ever want to come to campus and be involved and interact with other students, that opportunity is available to you as well.
Thanks, guys. So the next question I have for you guys is, what is the best piece of advice you can give a student transitioning from a very involved undergraduate career to a graduate student who's looking to get involved?
When I was in my undergrad, I was super involved with leadership organizations, departmental organizations, Greek life. I was in any club that I could be. So I think for me, it was a natural progression to, make the decision to automatically, join student government and hold a leadership position in that, and then get a GA position. I think that it's to your benefit. It's a great way to network with people in your program, because a lot of things are online this semester and because of right now. So there's been a lot of networking that I've been able to do with, administrators in the program and students of the program without me physically having to go sit in a class and be there. And I'm able to do everything online. And I think that it's a great way to network with your peers and learn off of each other in an online platform.
And similar to that, Grishma, if you'll kind of talk about for international students who are coming here, maybe their first time in the United States, but especially their first time at Arkansas Tech, you could just talk about how you transitioned.
Overall, transitioning as an international student is not easy, for sure, but it's all about the motivation and dedication. So when I came to the United States first as an undergrad, it was definitely not easy. It took a couple months. I still spoke with people, tried to learn what was right to say, how to ask, just a few little things. Details do matter. So over time, as it progressed, I was able to learn basic etiquette, how to communicate with people around me. That helped me and motivated me, even made me more dedicated. So that transitioning became easier. Later on, as I completed my undergrad, transitioning into graduate school, again, was another challenge, but you face challenges at every stage in your life. So I took that as a challenge. I continued with my coordinating with people, talking, trying to understand, observing, understanding. Keeping an open mind was definitely one thing I learned over the course of time. As an international, being in a diverse community, being in this global world, having a diverse mindset is very necessary. So this few points that I learned, I added it to my personality, made me strong, and I was able to transition.
Great. Thank you, Krishma. And so my last question for you guys before we wrap up is, what made you decide to attend Arkansas Tech for your graduate career? Or if you were here for undergrad, what made you decide to stay here for your graduate career? And what advice could you give to students coming in on why they should choose Tech?
I chose to stay at Tech after my undergrad because it was just a natural progression, and I had loved, Arkansas Tech family atmosphere that it has and the friendliness of the program. And luckily for me, I knew people already in my program, so I could ask them questions. I had connections to get questions from the professors in the program, so it was really easy for me to find out which program was best for me. And I think that's the best thing about Arkansas Tech is that it's easy to get those questions answered and really make you feel most comfortable in your program. And I guess the advice that I would give is that you need to ask those questions. It's really easy to have those resources available to you at Arkansas Tech because it's such a family-friendly atmosphere that everyone wants to see you succeed at this university. And you have so many resources available to you, and I would just say use them at the end of the day.
And I hate to just repeat him, but it's kind of the same for me. I was an undergraduate here, and I just loved the Russellville area. And I felt really at home whenever I first came here. It automatically felt like home. I wasn't as homesick as I thought I might be. And then I had really helpful professors in my undergrad. So I went out into the workforce, and I worked for 4 years as a teacher before coming back. And I honestly didn't think of any other school. I didn't look into other schools. I didn't even research other programs. I just was like, I'm going to go to Tech. And that's exactly what I did. And it's been a good thing because I have great professors that still help me. Like Hudson said, it's really easy to get any of your questions answered. And I know probably more so undergrad, there's a lot of students that are afraid to ask questions. But I'm an asker. So like you said, just ask your questions and do what's best for you. I would also say if you're torn between things, you might research a little more than I did. I knew what I wanted to do, but I know not everybody's in that spot. But we've got lots of advisors. You met some of them today that are willing to answer your questions and help you pick the right program for you. And we've got a great graduate college. So take advantage of Caitlin and have her connect you with people. And we're all just in this family atmosphere and ready and willing to help you.
So for me, I kind of get a similar question, but since I'm from Wisconsin, it's the question of why did you choose to go to Arkansas? So for me, it was more focused on the Student Affairs Administration program as I was looking for graduate assistantships in residence life. I heard great things about the program from previous graduate students that were in the program, and about the professors where they're very outgoing, they want to answer your questions, they've been in the career field for 20 to 30 years, which is awesome because then they can answer your questions and have a lot of experience in that. And for me, I wanted to pursue the graduate degree in student affairs because I didn't want to kind of feel stuck with my history degree. So I kind of wanted to expand and kind of do something that I wanted to love versus something that I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. So that's the reason why I chose Arkansas Tech, and it was also for the assistantship. And also, if you are looking for assistantships, there's a lot of opportunities to look those up via the Student Affairs page or the Division of Student Affairs website.
And we're going to discuss those tomorrow too at our session tomorrow. And Krishma, if you want to add anything before we wrap up.
So my brothers graduated from tech, and they told me how the teachers were welcoming. The classroom size was good enough where you don't feel left out. There's good interaction opportunities, and for international students, the biggest thing is also financial. So financial-wise, this is one of the lowest paying, well, for tuition, one of the lowest, and you do not have to pay as much as you would in other universities, to be honest. And for graduate students, there are several graduate assistantships available on campus, which is not only beneficial for financial ways, but also for you to grow as an individual, as a professional. So that is one of the biggest things. And secondly, I, after coming here, experienced how welcoming everyone was over here. So that's why I stayed after my undergrad and continued to pursue my master's here.
Okay, thanks, Grishma. Does anyone have any questions quickly before we wrap everything up for the evening? Okay, I'm going to share my screen real quick with you guys. So just wanted to remind everyone that, oh goodness, it started from the beginning. Sorry, y'all. That tomorrow's session starts at 4 p.m. Make sure you use that link that was sent to you in the email. I'll probably send y'all another email reminder tomorrow before the session starts, so you'll know exactly where to click. Tomorrow's schedule, we're going to have a panel on funding your degree. For our international students, there's going to be breakout sessions for you. For students who are working on applying, there will be a session for you. And then students who have already been admitted, what's your next steps and what should you do next as far as setting up your Blackboard, applying for financial aid and things like that. We're also going to have another chance to go to a program breakout room where you can meet again with the same program directors and talk to them if you had any additional questions, or if you're interested in another program, you can attend that. If not, there's going to be a virtual student mixer with Hudson and Amanda and some other current students where y'all can talk more about the current student perspective. And so what we've all been waiting for, I drew for our participant winners. So Prince and Tara, y'all are our t-shirt prize pack winners. If you will email us your t-shirt size and your mailing address, we'll send those the t-shirt prize packs to y'all probably sometime next week when I'm back in the office. And then our $40 application fee waiver winner is Lexi Hedgecock. If you will email me your name and date of birth just to confirm everything, and I'll send you the directions for that. And again, we are giving away many more application fee waivers and prize packs tomorrow. So make sure that you come back tomorrow. Definitely an incentive to come back tomorrow. We're giving away a lot more then. So that is all that we have. If you have any questions, feel free to call us at that number or email us. And then again, we will see y'all tomorrow. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much for sticking through any technical glitches there were. Hopefully we can work out all the kinks and try it again tomorrow. If not, we will see you guys later and have a great evening. Bye, guys. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome back to day 2 of our virtual open house. Just make sure that you turn your screen view from stack to side by side, so that way you can see the presentation and everyone else that's participating as well. I'm sure you all want to see my face while I'm talking. So just make sure to edit your name with your full name, so that way we can make sure that everyone's here and we all know each other's names. Mute yourself when you're not speaking. And then if you have any questions, make sure that you're sending those in the chat, and we'll answer those at the end of each session. So I'm going to go over to the schedule very quickly. Maybe. Okay, so here in a few minutes, we're going to have our funding your degree presentation. And then after that, you are going to be placed into one of 3 breakout rooms. Our international students will go into a breakout room. Students who have not yet applied to graduate school or are currently applying will go into one room. And then students who have been admitted already will go into another room. If you happen to go into a room and you realize you're in the wrong room, All you'll have to do is leave that session, come back to the main room, and we'll put you in the correct one. That should not occur. However, at the end of this session at 5 o'clock, there will be a quick break, and we're going to put you into your next session. So do not leave your breakout room at that time at 5. Just hang out for a few minutes, and you'll automatically go back into your new room. When you get into that new breakout room, you'll be in there with one of the programs that you selected that you were interested in. If you happen to be in a program that you did not select, or you've already attended that session yesterday, you can leave that room, come back to the main session, and we will put you in the correct one. But make sure that you're hanging out and making sure that you are in the correct session before you just leave or anything like that. And if you did attend our program breakout rooms yesterday and you're not interested in another program, we do have a virtual student mixer going on at the same time, so that way you can talk to current students and learn about what it's like to be a current student here, a graduate student here at Tech. So at the very end is when we're going to draw for our $40 application fee waivers, go over a few reminders, and then if y'all have any questions at the end, we'll do that all at the very end of everything. So I guess we can go ahead and get started. We are a little bit ahead of schedule with our funding your degree session, but we can go ahead and start that. So I'm going to exit out of this, and maybe I am, and pull up the next presentation if it will let me. So this session is about how to fund your graduate degree. My name is Caitlin. I'm the graduate admissions officer here at Tech, and I'm going to let the other panelists introduce themselves and then take it away from there.
Hi, I'm Heather Taylor. And oh, sorry, Kevin. I apologize. I don't have any video. I'm having some technical difficulties in my house, but I'm the Associate Director of Student Life. I'm sorry, I'm reading Kevin's, of Student Aid. I've been in financial aid for 18 years, and hopefully we can answer any questions that you have about federal aid.
My name is Kevin Solomon, and I serve as the Associate Dean of Campus Life, as you can see there. I've been at Arkansas Tech for 16 years, in this role since we created it in 2011, so 9 years. So, and my role applies in this fashion because our area of student affairs, in particular Campus Life, has a lot of graduate assistantships. And so that's why I'm here to talk with you guys today. Excited to be here.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I know we don't have very much time, so if I'm speaking too fast, y'all just let me know. Like I said, we're going to speak about financial aid, and we are in the Division of Enrollment Management. Okay, let me go ahead and do the next slide, please. Okay, so some of you may be familiar with this and some may not, but you have to apply for federal aid, and how to do that is you complete the FAFSA. There are actually two different FAFSAs. If you plan to start in the summer of 2021, you're going to complete the 2021 FAFSA. And then if you're going to start in the fall, which is in August, you're actually going to do the 21-22 FAFSA. So if you plan to go summer and the upcoming fall and spring, you're going to have to complete two FAFSAs to get aid for each year. You apply online every year at studentaid.gov, and this must be completed each year because you use each different year's taxes. So it's not an automatic renewal. Some of the priority deadlines I told Caitlin was normally for the fall, May the 1st, and for spring, November the 1st. This allows you to get your FAFSA done, our office to receive it, you to complete all your documentation, and give us time to get everything settled in, checked over, and award your aid and get it settled before the beginning of the term. And this is just kind of a side note, but Arkansas Tech requires that the FAFSA be completed every year if a student receives institutional funds. So that may be like a foundation scholarship, any kind of scholarships, athletic scholarships. So any institutional money, you have to have a FAFSA on file to receive that money for it to pay. Go ahead with the next one, Caitlin. Okay, so as a grad student, unfortunately, you're on the federal side, you're only eligible for loans. So the two different types of loans that you might be eligible for is called an unsubsidized loan and a graduate plus loan. So the unsubsidized loan, that is the one where you complete the FAFSA. You're eligible for up to $20,500 for the year, which is $10,250 each semester. You must be enrolled in at least 5 hours, and that is for both loans, the grad plus and the unsubsidized loan. Both of these loans, the interest begins when the loan is dispersed. So if you're going in the fall, the loan is dispersed on August 18th. Interest is going to start accruing then, and you're going to be responsible for that. It accrues quarterly, so every couple of months that's going to, accrue. You do have the option to pay that interest, or you can wait and pay it off with your principal. Now, do know that since it is compounding, that it's going to add up a lot quicker than you think it would. So on the Graduate Plus loan, that one is a credit check. So you go to the same place where you complete the FAFSA, the studentaid.gov, and you're just going to sign in and apply for the Graduate Plus. It'll tell you within just a couple minutes whether you're approved or denied for that. If you're approved, it gets sent to me with how much you want to borrow, and we can give you that up to your budget, which your budget is just an estimate of your tuition and fees, transportation, on or off-campus housing, books, that kind of stuff. A lot of times that unsub loan of $20,500 eats up a bunch of that budget. So there's not a whole lot of room for a grad plus, but we are going to give you whatever you're eligible for. Again, you must be in at least 5 hours. And then over here on that blue box, it shows you the current interest rate for the unsub is 4.3% and the grad plus is 5.3%. And that is fixed for the life of the loan. And those change every July 1st. So if you're going to start, let's say summer 2, or if you're going to start in August, those will more than likely change. Okay, so then my last slide is you've done everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mr. Rivas asked that I explain international students are normally not eligible for federal aid. You have to go on the FAFSA and answer yes to a couple questions. If you can't answer yes to those, then you're not eligible for the Grad Plus or the unsubsidized loan. But there are different options that he can speak about here in just a minute that you might be eligible, or that he might be able to speak about here in a minute, that you might be eligible for, along with those assistantships that Kevin is going to talk about. So once you have the FAFSA taken care of and we've awarded your federal aid, you have to retain it. There are a couple of rules you have to follow. As a grad student, you must have a 3.0 cumulative GPA each semester. So right off the bat, it has to be a 3.0 every term. And you also must complete at least 67% of all the hours that you attempt. So if you start with 9 and drop to 6, you got to make sure within that 67%. Also, you have to complete most grad degrees within 54 attempted hours. Certain certificates, the graduate certificates, are a little bit less, and they're based on the certificate. So if you're going for a graduate certificate, you're more than welcome to contact me after this by email or calling, and I can look up and let you know how many hours you can apply, how many you have for that certificate. So if you don't meet these requirements, you can appeal. So and what that is you're saying, here's what happened. We all know there's issues, things come up, and we want to be, cognizant of that. But the deadline is July the 27th and January the 5th. Of course, the 27th for fall, the 5th for spring. There is a 2 appeal limit, and grads only get 1 appeal for GPA. Undergrads don't ever get an appeal for GPA. So since it's each semester, we kind of give you a little leeway on that GPA, but it's only 1 term. And if you don't meet the satisfactory academic progress standards above, then what will happen is we'll email you and let you know that, and there will be an option for you to apply to actually appeal online through your OneTech. And then on the withdrawals and all Fs, if you ever decide to withdraw, or if for some reason you do receive grades of all Fs, you may owe money back depending on your last date of attendance. So what we suggest is if you're having any issues in your class, speak with your advisor, speak with your professors, speak with financial aid. And if you ever decide that you need to drop 1 or more classes, always talk with financial aid first, because you may be below that 5-hour minimum. You may owe money back, so always check with us before dropping a class. And that is all I have with financial aid.
Great. Well, I'm going to talk about. I got some feedback here. I'm going to talk about non-academic assistantships. Specifically, I'm going to talk about GA positions within the Division of Student Affairs. There are some other non-academic assistantships that are out there outside of the Division of Student Affairs. However, the majority of them fall under our division, and most of them operate in a similar manner that we do. So I'm going to kind of provide you an overview of what they are and how we work. We want to move along to the next slide, please, Caitlin. So within the Division of Student Affairs, we have a lot of graduate students that seek out assistantships because they're in the higher education program. Now, we don't exclusively hire graduate assistants from the higher ed program or the college student personnel program. It's changed names, whichever one that you refer to it as. Although that is a field of study and people want that assistantship, and we want to help develop those people with real world experiences. However, our assistantships are not limited to those people in that major. So I wanted to be clear on that. Some institutions, when you look at, you will find that you cannot get an assistantship in student affairs if you are in a program outside of a higher ed or a college student personnel program. Our motto is we are always going to take the best person for the job. Sometimes that falls within the higher ed program. Sometimes that falls outside of that. Right now, our Division of Student Affairs has assistantships in the following areas. Residence life, which is your housing assistantships, the housing office or dorm office, whatever you want to call it, residence life. International and Multicultural Student Services has assistantships. So does the Department of Diversity and Inclusion. The Department of Campus Life, which is your fraternity, sorority, leadership, orientation, activities, all of that stuff. Public Safety, which is our police office and our police officers, and our Department of Emergency Management has assistantships. Department of Student Conduct and Title IX, that area depends on what things are going on in the year, but they have in the past had assistantships there. And then the Department of Student Wellness, which is our counseling center and our health center, they have assistantships, and as does Testing and Disability Services. They also have assistantships. So I'm not listing all of them, the specific assistantships, because they all fall under those umbrellas. But we're also in a little bit of a reorganization here with the university, in particular student affairs. And I don't want to say that these positions are available because I don't exactly know how things are going to shake out here in the coming months as to what we'll have available for that. But these areas, if you're a higher ed person or looking at higher ed, these are the areas you can gain assistantships in. There are also areas that we take a lot of practicum students in. So maybe they're not having an assistantship with us, but they also have a practicum with us. So that's what we have in student affairs. We will move on to the next slide. So current positions, these are all them here. So does anybody come into their graduate school work with the qualifications to be awesome at these things? Very few people have undergrad experience in these things. So for some higher ed people that have maybe have done Greek life or been an orientation leader or student activities person as an undergrad, they fit well into a lot of these different ones. But maybe some more had different jobs as undergrads in event management or planning and stuff like that. Maybe they're doing a hospitality degree. Maybe they're doing the liberal and fine arts degree, health and wellness, the coaching degree that fits in with our outdoor rec and our campus rec and intramurals. So these are the kind of the positions that we have right now. And again, there's no prerequisite that anybody's going to come in and mark the check boxes that get that everybody's eligible for those things. Some of them are a little bit more specific, and we do need a background in that. Our Veteran Services Office, we do want somebody in that office that is a military affiliated student, either a spouse or dependent or a military person themselves. Just because of the paperwork and stuff that needs to happen in there, you need some consistency with that. Student wellness on the counseling side and the peer education side, they do like some people in the health fields to try to match that up with them a little bit. Events management. Sometimes we have hospitality folks that have that hospitality background that really helps there with that. And the graphic and marketing design one is pretty broad, but we have a lot of people in the liberal and fine arts program that work under those things. So that's what we currently have. I suspect that this is what we'll have going forward. I don't know at this time what people are graduating or not returning. But this is where we're at with all the things that we have. Now, some of these we have multiple positions. Residence Life has 15 people or 17 people assistantships in Residence Life. Campus Life as a whole, we have about 15 as well, mixed up in some of these different spots. But orientation is 2 people. Campus Rec is 2. Fraternity and Sorority Life is 2. So there's multiple positions with that. So on any given year, we have about half of these positions come open. And we like to have our people for 2 years. We provide you with 2 one-year contracts. And we start July 1 or July 5th, whatever the first day of work is after the 4th. But we start July 1 and run through June 30th. So our 2 one-year contracts is what we do with our graduate students. And that's how we fill them. So we look to fill them starting in July 1. You don't have to start classes till August, but you have to be accepted and all that other stuff prior to starting work with us. So if we could kind of click to the next slide. I'm not sure. Okay, so our general information about that. We start July 1, 12-month contract renewable for 2 years, pending you do your job well, you keep up your grades. All areas of graduate study are considered. You'll average about 24 hours of work per week. And I use the word average because if you're doing an assistantship in fraternity and sorority life, during sorority recruitment, you will probably work 85 to 90 hours that 5-day period of recruitment. Now, we will make it up after, but if you're doing orientation for the 5 days of orientation for new student orientation, you're going to work at least 12 hours a day, if not more. But we'll make that up. But on average, you're 24 hours of work per week. Our monthly stipends run from $1,100 a month to $1,250 a month, approximately, give or take a little bit here. And that covers all of the areas in student affairs. They are significantly more than some of the other assistantships on campus, just because of the way the position requirements and such that we have from that. So they are sought after for internal candidates. They are sought after because of the experiences they create for external candidates as well. We do pay 18 hours of tuition per year. If your program exceeds that, we have an opportunity to maybe cover some additional stuff in a 3rd year or something, or add another class in there. But typically we go 6, 6, and 6 throughout 6 fall, 6 spring, and 6 summer, or 9, 6, and 3, or whatever you want to do that. Some of our assistantships provide housing at no cost. If you're familiar with Residence Life or housing, you live in a residence hall, so you get free housing and a meal plan with that. But our Campus Life positions do not give you a meal plan or housing. So Residence Life has some other positions too in there that aren't necessarily hall directors, but they do provide a live-in option for that. The most important thing that I can leave you with is that, again, we are kind of restructuring and looking at different things, and we really don't know where we're going to land at. But around February 1st is when we start to post these positions up. Typically, this year it will be delayed. But one thing that you can always do, and it's not updated right now, we've lost a staff member, and we didn't realize that wasn't changed, but there's a Work With Us website in Student Affairs, atu.edu/student affairs, Work With Us. We usually post them up there and keep that pretty current with what's going on around February, March area timeline. But I do want to leave you with my name, Kevin Solomon, ksolomon@atu.edu. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put that in the chat. And I'll be glad to be a conduit to get your name out there and to give you timelines and stuff with other departments as they move along. It is just a little bit of a different year for a lot of different reasons, but I'll always be the one that can be able to help connect you with timelines and what's going on. And it's always a safe bet to send me a resume, and I will be able to get that to where we are. So Student Affairs, great assistantships, a variety of different areas, not academic specific. There are, like I said, there are other places on the campus. Athletics has different assistantships as well. And there's a few other places that have stuff, but ours are pretty much I think we have about 50 or so graduate assistants, and maybe not that. Yeah, we have about 50 or so graduate assistants in student affairs across the board. So I believe that's my last slide. Is that correct? I know you tried to cut one out earlier on me.
That was not me.
That was Heather. So great, perfect. If you have questions, you have my email. I'm not going to be able to hang around for questions, but please reach out to me, and we'll let you know when the timeline is, and follow our student affairs page on our website, and that Work With Us link. That'll be updated here shortly now that we know it's not updated, and we'll get that rolling when we get stuff up. I suspect March will be the timeline where we have our assistantships ready. The last thing I forgot to tell you, if you're going to try to interview and apply for a position in Campus Life, you have to be accepted by the graduate school. Okay, you have to have applied. That's the new thing that we do internally. We don't want to waste our time and effort. You have to apply. I'm not sure what the cost is for the graduate program anymore. If there is a cost to register, I don't know. It used to be $25 or something. I don't know.
It's $40 now
$40.
to apply. But we're giving away some waivers today, so everyone has to hang around.
We want you to have applied. I don't want to interview if you're not qualified and ready to get in, and you don't want to interview either with that. So we want you to apply. If we bring you to, well, we won't do that anymore, but when we interview you, we will not interview you unless we already have the non-official okay from the graduate school. It looks like everything's going to get updated. So you've got to get moving. You're a more attractive candidate when we already know you're done in the grad school stuff. And that should apply to you in any program that you're looking at, or any school you're looking at. You are a more attractive candidate for assistantships when you're already in your program of study. So yeah, it's a little bit of cheddar out of your pocket, but it's worth it. It makes it much more real for employers. So thank you. Appreciate the time. Looking forward to seeing some of you, or a lot of you in the fall, or all of you in the fall. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. If you need to go ahead and leave, you are more than welcome to. We will see you later. But I'm going to go ahead and zip through some of the academic assistantship opportunities and other funding opportunities that we have on campus through the No? Did y'all hear me? Was I muted? Okay, I'll start over. So basically, academic graduate assistantships are within your specific department. Of course, you can get a graduate assistantship in another academic department if they have those available and things like that. It really just depends. You can either be, like a teaching graduate assistant, you can be a research assistant. All of those are within your department. You average about 20 hours per week. So unlike student affairs, where your hours may fluctuate, a lot of the times within these academic positions, you typically do your 20 hours a week, but it really just depends on the program. So academic assistantships you're either on a 9-month contract or on a 12-month contract. So unlike student affairs where you start in July, typically with academic positions, you'll start in the fall. So it is a little bit different. You still get those 18 hours of credit hours paid every year. But for a 9-month position, you get $6,400 per year. I'll let y'all do the math to divide that among 9 months. Or for a 12-month position, you get $9,440. So you do work a little bit less, and you do get paid a little bit less with those. But those are specifically within your academic departments or on the academic side of things. Goodness, sorry, y'all. To apply for an academic graduate assistantship, priority deadlines for admission is March 1st for fall, October 1st for spring. So that is not a hard deadline, but that is definitely, if you are planning to apply for an assistantship, you're trying to get your name out there, definitely try to get your application in as soon as possible. Just like Kevin said, they want to make sure that you're actually going to be admitted into the program before they waste their time trying to decide if they want to give you an assistantship. You must be admitted unconditionally. You must have, that specific GPA. While you're in a graduate program, you have to be in at least 6 hours, and you have to maintain a 3.0 to keep that graduate assistantship. Goodness. So how to apply graduate assistantships, the best person to learn more about that is to contact your program director. If they have an assistantship coming open in their department or under them, anything like that, they're going to be your main point of contact. If you need any more information, the graduate college oversees all of that, so you can learn more at that link there, or email or contact the graduate college about that. So I'm going to quickly go through some other funding opportunities. So we talked about grad assistantships, we talked about financial aid. Definitely remember that if you're from a state that borders Arkansas, you qualify for in-state tuition. So any of those states, even if you're in a completely online program, you'll qualify for that in-state tuition. If you're going to be coming into one of these 4 STEM programs that we have, you qualify for an out-of-state tuition waiver as well. And then the graduate college in Arkansas Tech, we also have several research and professional development grants that you can apply for and get while you're a grad student to, go on professional development trips, present research, do research projects and things like that. So that's definitely an option. I'm not going to read all of these foundation scholarships out, but definitely when you're looking at scholarships, they're out there. You may have to get on the Google machine and look for them. Specifically within our foundation at Tech, they have a lot of scholarships that are specific to programs. So if you are an instructional technology major, there's a specific scholarship for you and things like that. Some other things that you should definitely look into if you're going into a teaching program, look into the Teacher Opportunity Program. They call it TOPS by the Department of Higher Ed. And then, there's a ton of them out there. The best place to look is at ATU/grad-college/funding. That will have all of the lists and links and everything. Of course, there are deadlines. The sooner you start applying and researching, the better. And then this is something brand new to you guys that I'm telling you for the first time. In the fall, pending board approval, I have to throw that out there, we are doing a $500 tuition waiver as long as you apply by March 1st. You're admitted conditionally, you're a first-time grad student, and you enroll full-time in the fall, you will get a $500 tuition waiver your first semester. These are limited, and so they're going to be awarded first come, first serve. So make sure that you're getting your application in by March 1st, and really you apply as soon as possible because we're going to award those as soon as they come in. So that's all I have for funding opportunities. Again, atu.edu/grad-college/funding. I was going to go through this. This is down here at the bottom is the main thing. Oh goodness. Sorry, y'all. Really slow here. Okay, so this is the tuition and fees for the entire time you're enrolled, either 6 to 9 hours. Most of our programs are 30 to 36 hours, so about what you can expect. Down here at the bottom is the best place to go. There's a tuition calculator where you can kind of crunch the numbers to see exactly what you're getting, but definitely just keep in mind that Arkansas Tech is, relatively affordable. You can see all these rankings that we have here, so definitely these numbers can be a little bit scary, but in the long run, it definitely works out. So any questions that you have, you can send those in the chat now, and I can answer those. Heather from Financial Aid, if you have any financial aid questions. Kevin gave you his contact information if you have questions about campus life assistantships. And then Mike is also here from International Admissions. If you have any questions, or any of our international students who have questions that he might could help with. So don't be shy if you have any questions.
Hey, Caitlin, this is Heather in Financial Aid. I just wanted to let everybody know on the grad assistantships that each department awards those, and they are, they send them to our office. We're the ones who put them on the student's account and everything. But some send them at the beginning of the term. Some wait till after the 80%, which the 80% is normally the first 2 weeks of school, you know, in the fall and spring. So some students get theirs a little earlier, some get them a little later, but know that they will be put on whenever we get the information from your department. So don't worry about that.
Thanks, Heather. Does anyone have questions about assistantships or financial aid, anything like that?
Hello, my name is Mubarak. I'm an international student. I would like to know if I can contact the professors I'm willing to work with and see if there's an assistantship position within their research program, and probably contact them if they are going to reply my mail, and possibly work towards after my admission, and possibly work towards working for them, and probably working on their research, and then working in everything. I hope that's possible.
Mubarak, if you can hear me, I'm Mike Rivas. I'm Assistant Director of International Admissions. You can join us in our breakout room here in a minute. We could discuss the questions about international directly.
All right, thank you, Mike.
My pleasure.
Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start the next breakout rooms. Again, you're going to automatically go into your next room. Something should pop up prompting you to join that session. Once you get in there, if you realize, oh, I'm in the wrong session, leave the session, come back, we'll put you in the correct one. The session ends about 5. Don't leave your session. You will automatically be placed into your next room. So don't go anywhere. We're going to handle it for everyone. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and start the rooms now. So we'll see you guys back in a little bit.